Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining the session on HST rebate on pre-construction properties. My name is David Wu. I focus in real estate tax, retirement income planning, as well as financial risk management. I'm a chartered professional accountant, and I am in the Foreign Hill, Leslie, and Highway 7 area. Before I begin, I want to outline my Realtor Alliance program. So, for those who are not aware, I do offer free tax consultations for realtors and their clients, free initial consultations. They're 100% client confidential, and I will not solicit your client or refer them to other realtors. If you're a brokerage, I do offer free tax seminars for brokerages to train your realtors. So if interested, please contact me at the information that you see below on this slide. Okay, so let's get started and let's talk about HST rebate on pre-construction condos and properties and see what are some of the issues and to be aware of here. First of all, I wanted to give you some information directly from the Canada Revenue Agency regarding their audit activities relating to real estate. So what you see here is the numbers of audits that the CRA has conducted since April 2015 to March 2019. And one area that really jumps out at me is that GST, HST, new housing, residential rental property rebates is the area that has the highest amount of audits that's being done in terms of number of files completed. So there's a high volume of activities on GST and HST, and part of the reason why is it's a misunderstood area. There's a lot of real estate investors uh, or people buying pre-construction properties that are not doing the correct thing when it comes to HST. And this is hopefully this video will help give you more clarity regarding HST associated with pre-construction property. Okay, so let's look at the basics here. Okay, so when you buy a resale property, you don't have to worry about paying HST on the property. Okay, so there'll be HST, uh, uh, however, on pre-construction properties. Okay, now how does it work? Normally, HST is included in the price. Okay, so when you look at a price of a pre-construction condo, for example, that price already includes that HST component. Okay, so you don't need to worry of doing a separate calculation, adding another 13%. Okay, typically the price that you see for pre-construction property does include the HST. Now, the government offers HST rebate to help reduce some of the costs associated with the HST and when it comes to buying new property. There's two components of the HST rebate. There's a federal component and a provincial component. Okay? The federal component, so just remember that HST is made out of provincial 8% and 5% GST, totaling 13%. So the rebate works in the same manner. Federal rebate gives you 36% uh, of your 5% back, okay, up to $6,300. So the maximum that you can receive from a federal rebate is $6,300. However, depending on your purchase price, if it's north of $450,000, you will not be able to get take advantage of the federal rebate. So this will not apply if you buy a property in excess of $450,000. Okay, the provincial rebate, on the other hand, is a rebate of up to $24,000, 75% of the 8% provincial tax, and there's no reduction. So it doesn't matter if your house is $2 million. Okay? If you can still qualify for that $24,000 rebate, okay, That's the provincial rebate. So HST, yes, is included in the price, but there are rebates available. That's also depending on whether you're a real estate investor or an owner-occupy buyer. That rebate could be included in the purchase price as well. So we're going to get to that. Okay. So if you are buying a home to live, you will be classified as owner occupy buyer. So you will be going through the rebate program for owner occupy homes. If your intention, however, is to buy a property to rent out, you will be part of the rebate program for investors. Okay, so we'll go through those two programs in the coming slide. Okay, so let's talk about owner occupy homes first. Okay, if you are buying a home, pre-construction home, with the intention to live in the home, then you will qualify for the GST HST new home rebate. With this rebate, the buyer does not need to pay HST on closing. The builder will include this rebate in its price, and the builder would be the one to receive the rebate from the government directly. Okay, so this is a lot cleaner where everything is already built into the price, including the rebate, and there's nothing extra to do with HST on closing. One thing to mention is that if you are buying a property with multiple owners who are unrelated and do not have the intention of living in their property, so unrelated would be an uncle, a friend, an aunt. Okay, those people are not immediate family members. So if you have a situation where you have multiple owners and one of them does not live in the property and they're not related to you, then unfortunately no rebate is allowed. Okay, so that's one area to be very careful of. If you're putting multiple owners on title, you could be subject to having a situation where you do not qualify any longer for the GST HST new home rebate. Okay, so what about for investors? If you're looking to buy a property pre-construction for renting out, then you will qualify for the GST HST new rental property rebate. So in this situation, you as the investor on closing, okay, will need to pay the rebatable portion of the HST. So for example, that $24,000 of PST, the provincial portion, okay, if you're subject to that, you'll need to pay that at the time of closing. Okay, if your property is below 350, let's say, you could be subject to pay the 6,300 plus the amount for the provincial amount. Okay, so it really depends on the purchase price, but the key thing is the rebatable portion that you'll be liable to pay for, because the other portion, the non-rebatable portion, is already built into the price. Now, you do have 2 years to apply for this rebate. Okay, so after closing, you can have 2 years to apply for this rebate. But why wait to get your money? If you qualify, let's do that right away. What you'll need to do to prove that you're an investor, you number one have to have a 1-year lease in place with a tenant. Okay, and you'll also need to have your purchase and sales agreement, your summary of your closing, your summary of statement of adjustments from your lawyer, as well as completing the paperwork to apply for the GST HST new rental housing rebate. Okay, I should mention that if you sell within 1 year, you'll need to repay the rebate. Okay, so the key difference is if you're only owner occupy, you don't need to pay on closing the rebatable portion of the HST. It's built into your price. If you are an investor, you will need to first pay the rebatable portion, but you can claim 100% of it back as long as you have a 1-year lease in place and you do not sell the property in less than 1 year. Now, what about condo assignments? Okay, so what if you buy a property and then before closing you assign it to uh, another purchaser? Now, 9 out of 10 cases, according to CRA, you'll be deemed to be called a builder, and as a builder, you will need to charge HST on both your deposits plus your profits. So what does that mean? So if you're assigning a property, uh, you would want to get for the buyer to pay you back all your deposits that you have already paid to the builder, plus you also want to make some money as well. So what this is saying that both your deposit money plus your profits is subject to 13% HST, and you as the person assigning profit is responsible for remitting that. Okay? So you got to be careful when you're doing assignments. The government's going to ask you for the HST, plus you're going to have to report the income tax associated with the assignment. Um, the default is business income. Okay, so 100% will be taxable. There is also very limited cases where you can be exempt from charging HST, but this only applies if you can prove that your original intent when you purchased the property was to live in the property. Okay, and that you had to, because of different scenarios, different situations, you decided to assign the property. But if your original intent was to live in the property and you can prove that, then you can be exempt from charging HST. But those are in very limited situations. Okay, so that's the end about HST rebate for new properties. So I hope that gives you some little bit more information of how that works. Again, I have a Realtor Alliance program specific for realtors. I provide free tax consultation for realtors and their clients, and also free tax seminars for your brokerages. If you want to set that up, please give me a call or contact me using the information on the screen. Again, I would like to thank everyone for listening in and watching my video, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the day.